They say paradise is fragile. Turns out it's especially fragile when it's bordered by a homeowner association run by a woman who measures grass height like she's calibrating a nuclear reactor. 3 years ago, I thought I'd beaten the system. After selling my concrete construction business in Dallas, my wife Elena and I bought what felt like the last honest piece of Texas hill country left. 3 rolling acres, mockingbirds, jasmine on the porch. A house set 400 yards back from the road when it reached by a gravel driveway that crunched under tires like nature's own stress relief toy. The key detail, the one that mattered more than square footage or sunsets, was the road. I owned it. Not HOA owned, not community adjacent. Mine. I paid an extra $80,000 for that privilege, and I'd have paid more. The previous owner, George Blackwood, a rancher with the foresight of a chess grandmaster and the vocabulary of a Baroom philosopher, carved it out in 1987 specifically to avoid neighborhood busybodies with clipboards. Elena, a high school principal with the patience of a saint and a laugh that could disarm a hostage taker, loved the quiet. Our daughter Sophia, 15, thrived in the peace. Evenings meant porch chairs, bird calls, and the kind of silence you can't stream. Then came Vivian Ashworth, HOA president, real estate agent, white BMW, vanity plates that read Prop Ken, the human embodiment of a parking ticket. I didn't know it yet, but our gravel road wasn't just a driveway to her. It was an obstacle, and Vivian Ashworth did not tolerate obstacles. Hot asphalt has a very specific scent, sharp, oily, aggressive. It's the smell of money being spent without your permission. I caught it drifting through my kitchen window at 7:12 a.m., right as I was pouring coffee. By the time I stepped outside, my private gravel driveway was already halfway to becoming a suburban runway. A paving crew worked with the confidence of men who believed paperwork was someone else's problem. Fence posts, yanked out like loose teeth. Survey markers, gone. Hammered into oblivion. My peaceful crunch crunch gravel road, buried alive under steaming black tar. The foreman handed me a clipboard like this was all very normal. Signed work order. Community Access Improvement Project. Authorized by HOA President Vivian Ashworth. I drove straight to the HOA office, boots dusty, temper calibrated just below felony. Vivian sat behind her desk like a villain in a low-budget courtroom drama, surrounded by awards she'd clearly given herself. "Oh, Garrett," she smiled, stretching my name like taffy. "We're upgrading your rustic road to community standards." She said rustic the way other people say fungal infection. She showed me a map. My driveway, highlighted in yellow, labeled Future Community Thoroughfare. Apparently, a dead rancher had verbally agreed to surrender his land from beyond the grave. The next day, the letter arrived. $3,200 assessment, $85 monthly maintenance fee, threats of liens, fines, and compliance actions. Elena slammed cabinets. Sophia's friends turned our driveway into a skate park. A security guard tried to ID me on my own land. And that's when I stopped being confused. Because confusion is for amateurs. This was war. Ivan didn't savor her victory. She weaponized it. Within a week, my freshly hijacked driveway had stone pillars slapped onto it like cheap jewelry on stolen goods. Brass plaques gleamed, Willowbrook Commons Grand Entrance, Est 2023. She'd branded my land like a prize steer. Then came the security guard. A grown man in a golf cart flagged me down while I was driving to town and asked for ID to use my own driveway. I stared at him the way you stare at a raccoon that just unlocked your fridge. "Ma'am says all vehicles need verification." That's when I filed my first county complaint. See, here's a fun construction fact. Nothing happens legally without permits. Not roads, not signs, not drainage changes. And Vivian had exactly zero. The county slapped a bright orange stop work order on her precious entrance pillars. It fluttered in the wind like a Halloween decoration for corrupt people. Vivian responded by fining me $500 per day for failure to maintain common area. She banned me from HOA meetings. She organized slow-walking photo safaris past my house. Sophia closed her curtains. Elena got cornered at the grocery store like we were laundering money instead of defending property rights. That's when I hired a surveyor, a private investigator, and started recognizing a familiar pattern. Shell companies, property assemblage, pressure tactics. This wasn't about a road. It was about forcing me to sell. And the woman doing it was bleeding money she didn't have. Desperate people don't retreat. They self-destruct. If you're enjoying this story so far, remind your viewers to like, comment, and subscribe, because Generation 4 is where the gloves come off and the handcuffs come out. Night asphalt, daylight handcuffs. Viven's final move came at 2:03 a.m. I know the exact time because that's when the trail cameras lit up like a Christmas tree. Unmarked trucks, portable floodlights, fresh asphalt, speed bumps, no parking, residents only signs. All going in on my land while Vivian strutted around in a pink tracksuit like a deranged suburban general. She thought permanence would save her. Build fast, claim ownership later. Classic bully math. What she didn't know was that Marcus had already called the sheriff. Saturday morning arrived with Vivian's grand finale, Community Action Day. 20 plus neighbors showed up in matching t shirts, bolt cutters in hand, ready to beautify my property by destroying it. Nothing says wholesome community spirit like coordinated felony trespass. That's when I stepped out with Deputy Rodriguez. The cheering stopped. The bolt cutters clanged to the ground. Vivian screamed about property values while standing on land holding tools on camera. The click of handcuffs was the most satisfying sound I've ever heard. Local news caught everything. Her meltdown, her arrest, her volunteers scattering like roaches when the lights come on. By Monday, banks froze her accounts. By Friday, federal investigators were involved. Turns out embezzlement, environmental violations, and racketeering don't look great on a resume. 8 years later, 8 year sentence later, my gravel road is still mine. Quiet, legal, free. And Vivian, she finally got what she always wanted. Standards. If you love this story, tell your viewers to like, comment, and subscribe for more HOA nightmares, sweet revenge, and proof that bullies always overplay their hand. Sometimes the best revenge isn't towing cars at 3 a.m., it's watching justice pull up with lights on.